first grade in Sunday school, and Delton brought up, the notice goes back to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Probably should have been more prepared for this. But it talks about the gifts of the Spirit. You know, it talked about the fruits of the Spirit, but the gifts of the Spirit, and I never knew this, or if I read this, it never really dawned on me, or it didn't really stick with me, but it says that the gifts of the Spirit, it goes through, there's a wisdom, knowledge, and faith. Faith is a gift of the Spirit.
Yeah.
It never really dawned on me. I just thought faith was something we had to become saved, but I didn't realize that our faith comes from the Spirit of God.
It comes from God. We have nothing to do with our salvation.
Right. But we have to put our faith in the right place. So I never, I thought, okay, well, I guess I do have a gift of the Spirit, because I do have faith.
You have some gifts of the Spirit.
So, anyway.
Yeah, it says the only piano player in the room.
And we're happy to have
I
you.
wouldn't call it that, but anyway, I thought that was very fascinating.
Robert made the comment this morning that when you read the Bible, you see something you didn't see before. That has to do with that.
It happens a lot.
I'll be right back, guys.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Here you go. How's it going? Happy to have all of you guys here. Here's what I'm going to speak on tonight. I had something planned, but that's not what I'm going to speak on. I'm going to speak on exactly what she said. Are you okay? Sometimes in life things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that's not going to go our way. After I left here today, everything that wrong has happened. I went out there, out and everything just blew up. And then after everything was handled, I said, if I hurry, we can still make it back in time. And I look and I have a flat out there. And then I'm hunting my jack. I had to look for it, and I said, if I head up at my friend's house, I can get some air. And I head up there, and he's not at home, and I ask for my house in there, and his friends are there, and we air up the tire, and I hear the air is hitting out real fast. And my spare's in the back, but I was going to order a tire for that, and it's hard to get a 14-inch tire. Hard to find, and I haven't gotten it done. It's on me. And I look in the back there, and I see my spare, and I said, it's going to have to do. And so I said, I'm going to try the tire. So I hop on the road, and I start home, and I thought he just didn't put it right. And I stopped, and it's halfway down. I thought I'm going to stop and put on the spare, and I'm right down from a friend's house, so I head up in his yard, hike up the truck, and me and Michael on the spare, and the spare is cracked all up. The spare looks terrible. I said, but it's gonna have to do it. So we put on the spare, and we headed home. And I'm here. Here's what I found out today, though, guys. After all of this had happened, I head up here, we zipped it, head down here where, we fed and stuff. And once I got home, I had an hour to get dressed. Every Sunday almost, once I get home, I have an hour. So I got home about the same time. Here's what stuck in my mind. Now, I was hurrying, and I was hoping to get everything done, and I was in a hurry. I said, after all of this happened, I'm not going to get home in time to get everything done. But here's what happened. After I got home, I still arrived home about the same time. Are you okay? We are okay. Why are we okay? Because here's what the Lord said in Hebrews 13 and 5. Let me find it real quick. Here's what he says in 5, and I'm going to look at that very last part. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Let me say this, guys. It's been a long year, right? It's been a long year. Everything has happened and everything is still happening. But here's what we need to keep in mind. And that's why I'm in some nice clothes tonight. Took off the overalls. The Lord has us, right? He's not going to forsake us. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how hard things get. Hey, out there, I thought, I'm not going to make it home. I got to hear and get home. Get home, hop in the shower, get things done. But everything worked out. Why did it work out? And here's, stop. I'm going to stop for a second. Hey, before everything worked out, I asked myself, why does it have to be so hard at times? Why is that, guys? Why does it have to be so hard at times? I just thought, I said, Lord, hey, you knew today all of these things I've got to get done, so why did I have the class today? Why has all this happened? But here's what stuck in my mind. Once I got home, I still had time. He has us, right? He has us. But here's what happens, guys. We get consumed, and I heard her say, and I've been going to the bathroom all day today. Back and forth, it's the air. It has to be. I mean, just nonstop. Heard, is that, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. It's the air. But here's my point. The Lord has us. Things are going to happen.
Exactly why we're asking if you're okay, because it's the air.
Hey, we have to stay in faith and stay in prayer. Hey, the Lord has us. He has us. But here is exactly what happens sometimes. As things happen, as things unfold, we get upset, we get frustrated, and think what? I'm not going to get everything done. It's not going to work out the way I have it planned. It's just not going to happen. There's no way it can happen. All of this stuff has happened, so it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. Now I'm going to read something to you. This is what I want you to keep in mind. Jeremiah 29 and 11. And if you get the time this week, read chapter 29. I read it 3 times this week. But I'm going to spend my time on this one. 29 and 11 says, for I know the thoughts I think towards you, says the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil. Hey, to give you a future and a hope. And here's where I'm going. Things are going to happen often and frequent that we're not going to understand. Like as I was out today, I got tired, I got frustrated, I even got upset for a while. I said, why does this have to happen today? But it did. But here's what happened. After I got home, I had time. Now here's what on my mind. Hey, the Lord has a plan for each and every one of us. He has a plan for our life. But sometimes there are going to be things that are going to happen that's not going to make sense to us. It's not going to make sense to us. As I stand before you today, sometimes it still doesn't make sense to me. How can I speak before you guys and do this? Once the Lord gets ready for it to happen, it's going to happen. But it's going to happen on His time. And let me say this, oftentimes there are some things that we have to go through that we don't want to, that's hard, that upsets us, that we're going to get frustrated. And oftentimes, even after we have went through these things, I and you will not understand why these things happen. In our mind, it's not going to make sense. He has a plan for us. He says what? I will never leave or forsake you. Now, as we begin this brand new year, as we have endured, this year that we have just gone through, it's what right now? Christmas, right? Let's enjoy Christmas. Let's enjoy the birth of a Savior. I want you to understand what this is about. The birth of a Savior who will what? Never leave us. He has us. I watched today after all was done. And I can say it now. After it was all done, and once I got home, I thought, how could this have happened? Everything that's happening, I get home each Sunday to get ready for the evening service and I'm hurrying. But I thought all of these things that happened, today that it happened, and I still have time. Here's where I am going. Things are going to happen that we're not going to understand, but here's what I want you to understand. Hey, the Lord is in control. He has us. He will never leave us or forsake us. And now here's I'm also saying, if the Lord has us, then what's going to happen? We are going to be fine. Now, I'm going to stop for a second. As I say that we're going to be fine, it may not work out how I had it planned, but it's going to work out how He has it planned, right? If it works out how He has it planned, I'm going to be fine. If it works out how I had it planned, I'm going to be in trouble. I want it to always work out how He has it planned. He has us. As we go through this next year, I want you to look forward to it, to be excited no matter what happens. I want you to understand, hey, the Lord has us. And I want you to understand this, and I've heard Him say this so often and frequent. If things happen, the Lord has allowed it to happen. As you read chapter 29 this week, it'll show in there how He will allow things to happen in our life that we're not going to understand. It's not going to make sense, but He has a plan. He has a plan. Hey, the plan in His life for me was to preach. There's a lot of things I had to head through before I decided that, okay, I'm going to go do it. Lord, I'm going to do what You have me to do. He has a plan. If it works out how He has it planned, we're going to be fine. Hey, my day-to-day has been awful. It was terrible, and I just stopped for a few minutes. I said, what has happened? What have I done? But let me say this. After it was all said and done, I understand. I'm happy I have Him that I can lean on. Because no matter what happened, it's fine. After it was all said and done, I stopped and looked back and said, who made that into a big deal? Me, right? I'm here on time and I'm still getting sleep. It's going to work out how He has it planned. But here's my next place I'm going. What we have to accept He has for us, right? How He wants it to work out. If we accept that, if we'll humble ourselves and understand this, He will never forsake you, or He will never leave you. Heading home the whole way, I said, if this truck's quit, I'm calling Robert. And if it quit, I would have phoned Robert. It's okay. He has us. But we got home fine. Here's my point. If we will stop and think, guys, no matter how things unfold, He has us, right? We're still fine. And let me say this. Here's what's so happy about Christmas. We know how the story ends, right? Everybody here knows how this story ends. If we accept it in our heart, if we lean and trust on Him and have faith, but as he was saying, hey, this morning, all we have to do is accept our salvation. We know how the story of our life will end, right? Here's how it ends. After it's over, we are what? Heading home with Him, right? And at that point, then everything will be what? It'll be all right, right? It's going to be fine. All of this isn't going to matter at all. I want you to read that chapter this week for me, please. I've read it 40 times, and that's a lot like our faith. There are going to be things that we are not going to want to say, Lord, why? Why do I have to do it? Because he has, it's like he says, hey, the Lord has allowed for it to happen. He understands. There are going to be things in my life I am never going to understand. How I can stand up here now and speak. I wish I could put in words how I felt at one time. Man, I think I can go up there and do that. But I'll tell you what, he's helped me so much. He doesn't understand much. He's helped me. But let me say this, the Lord he will work things out. How he wants it to work out. But it's how he wants it to work out. Now let me go back for a second. You will never understand, because I still don't. But I understand this, it's in his hands. If I put everything in his hands, if I put my faith, my trust, and my hope in him, it's going to work out. And I cannot explain how it's worked out, but I don't care, right? It doesn't matter how I still hear folks downtown. I've heard you speak, and you speak so well. Well, it's the Lord, and they say, "How do you do it?" I don't. It's the Lord. Here's my point. Everything is him, though, right? Everything is him. Often what we think is him. He has a plan for our life, our hope, and our future. But our hope, our faith, our trust should be in the Lord. As we greet this brand new year, okay, let's hold our heads up. Let's stay in faith. Let's stay in prayer. Why is that so? How things are handled by us. Why is that so? Why is that so?
Because people are watching us.
They see us when we don't see them. I hear folks say it all the time. Daryl, I saw you over there doing this. I saw you doing. I was in the store last night over at Walmart. I saw everybody. I saw Janelle. I saw your mom. I saw Richie. I saw Laisha. I hate to go in Walmart. Here's why, because everybody's there. And everybody will stop me and they'll talk to me. And I'm trying to, I looked awful. And I smelled awful too. And these folks are holding me up and I'm trying to get out of the store. And I can hear what folks are saying. Who is that black man with that stocking cap? Everybody in the store has to talk to him. And he's so loud and he's talking to everybody. The world sees us. The world sees us. Guys, I don't know why, but we stand out. We stand out. Oftentimes we will endure things because the Lord knows folks sees it. The world is, they're watching us. How is Daryl handling this? How is Tex handling that? How is Robert doing that? How is Roy doing that? Or why is the pastor doing that? They're watching us. Why are they watching us? I'm going to be honest with you guys. Hey, they want to see us fail. What they want to see you stumble, so they go back and say, hey, I seen him stumble. I saw it. But the Lord has us. Even when I stumble, he has me. He can fix it. He can fix it when I mess up. If my faith, if my trust, if my hope is in him. And understand this, it's not about me. Understand that it's going to work out the way he wants it to work out. As I was heading home, I was praying. I said, Lord, please let this truck get home, because if I don't have to phone folks, and what they'll say every time he calls, he needs something. That ain't what I want folks saying, no. But here's my point. It's going to work out the way he wants it to. And even if it stops, Lord, he wanted me to call. But here's what I'm glad, and here's what